Smart24, driving business.
Yes, we'll be back from the break. You're still watching Smart Means Business on Anju Barija here, and it's exactly 7 minutes past 9. Well, but of course, as we're heading into the Business Insight, I would still love to remind you that the markets on the Zabo platform are on right now, so you can participate in them and start an into hash simply the USSD code, which will avail with options where you will be in position to actually own government bond securities for a fee of just 15,000 Ghana shillings. Now they open at exactly 8:15 and they'll be running all the way to 3:15 p.m. That is East African time. This is effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when this markets cannot be accessed. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money. It's something which I believe it's quite instrumental when it comes to your financial well-being. As an individual, Zaba made this a reality for you. It's the 21st century. Trading bond securities is the new normal. And that's why on top of that, Zaba says, my money, my future. And also East Africa says, do something new for yourself. It is 2023. Well, at this point in time, as we head into our business insight, of course, following whatever has been happening around, the freezing of the loans from the World Bank to Uganda, something which is posing quite a very huge question, and in relation to even a discussion which I had with a member of parliament some time back, and he was trying to say that the World Bank survives by lending to the underdeveloped countries. That's how it also survives in some sort of a way. So for him, he was of the view that this is a matter of time. This will actually be solved in some sort of a way, so it won't last for long. Now, there is an outlet aspect in here that can lenders survive without clients. That is quite a very important question in here, and we need to also understand what kind of relationship should both have if we are to stay in business. This does not only happen on the national level, talking about global economies, but we can bring it back to the individual basis level, whereby lending and borrowers. So there is a discipline that needs to keep both entangled together. Well, that's why I'm joined with Xavier on a Zoom discussion here. He's a consultant, and we are going to be dissecting this point quite much more. Mr. Xavier, a very good morning, and it's quite great to have you on the show, Smart Means Business.
A very good morning to you and to all the viewers.
Thank you so much. Now, getting back to, as we dwell into the point of discussion in here, about the fact that lenders survive without clients? Becoming a major topic, the fact that if we say that the World Bank is not going to be lending Uganda any funds any longer, is that really viable for its sustainability? That is for quite a while. But of course, we can shift that away from just the World Bank and bring it to the general perspective. Can lenders survive without clients? And what is the relationship that both need to have if they are to stay in business?
Okay, thank you so much. I would like to come in and say lenders can never survive without borrowers, because it's their garden. Their garden is in those who borrow. So there is no way how can lenders survive without the borrowers. And the borrowers must strengthen their relationship between the two. Why? Because it's always the clients to suffer. It has been always a struggle for those that borrow. For instance, why do people go for loans? Why do governments go to World Bank and borrow money? And why don't other countries go there to borrow? One, some want to increase on their capitalization. Capital mobilization and capital expansion is the principal reason why people borrow or why governments borrow. Number two, we have emergency expenses, we must borrow. And then when we come to individuals, we have educational loans. Some people want to educate their children. We also have large purchases loans. You want to purchase something big and you need to acquire a loan so that you can survive. However, these world banks and whatever, they have done a lot of legacy exploitation. In the long run of borrowing people, they tend to take 98% benefits back to themselves, and then you remain with the 2%. And should you fail, you lose up to 200%. Two, they also tend to become economists. They threaten the economy. Three, the World Bank and the other banks and the other lenders in the world, they have never helped the borrowers when it comes to economic inclusion. Actually, they just wage up and then it remains in the hands of to whom it may concern. Now, there is also what we call collaborative valuation, because the borrower must put up the security of why you are borrowing, how much you are borrowing, and how it should help you. Take an example in Uganda. Someone is borrowing 1 million, but he is supposed to deposit at least 90% of what he or she is borrowing, and again leave 30% behind, meaning that whatever you are going to borrow will not participate in the economy. At the end of the day, when you look at the rentals, you look at other expenses, by the time you are coming into the capital, you are at zero. Even if you go with a budget and your plan, they cut your budget by 3/4. So you have a quarter to participate in the economy. So if we are to participate in the economy equally, we have to run a game that is fair and equal to all of us. Borrowers, I urge them to make sure they restructure the borrowing plan. Even World Bank itself, if at all they are listening and watching to this wherever they are in their World Bank, it is better. And I strongly support my government to also say no to the loans of the World Bank, because Pakistan is living without World Bank loans. Afghanistan is living without World Bank loans. Even individuals can still live without those loans. However much we need them, but we do not need to be put on the wall and our strengths go down. That's my point, sir.
All right, now, Mr. Xavier, on that notice, if we were to look at that, in your own opinion and according to your experience in matters of these finances, what would you think could be the best other financing alternatives? You know, those other, can I call them ventures that can actually finance the country's economic activities that transpire, away from the loans of the World Bank?
Okay.
Yes.
This is what we call, we can call it the union welfare maximization or checkout, whereby the borrowers and the lenders sit and cultivate a way of having the equal equation of either a fair way. I do not believe in somebody who is going to lend you something and is taking the share of 90%, you are almost remaining with less than 10. You rather take 70 and give me 30. There I can participate in the economy because you are my boss. You are lending to me. I'm submitting to you, but let me submit in a way that is fair. When it comes to personal loans in Uganda, the government of Uganda, through the Bank of Uganda, should re-regulate the economies and how the borrowers are getting involved into the economy and why the economy is not growing. Because when you treat the smallest percentage of the borrowers equally on the round table and you cannot sit with the borrowers, still you have a big gap in the economy.
Okay, that's quite very insightful. But now, if we are to examine, talking about other financial alternatives, financing alternatives, and if we are to examine our tax base locally in Uganda, do you think it has the potential to run us efficiently and sustainably?
Exactly, we do, but only if we can do one thing. If you can call a spade a spade. You know, we have a government that is so good in planning, but when it comes to action, the tax base goes to the other end, and then the spenders spend both the seedlings and the harvest at the same time. So if you can come back to our minds and say, enough is enough, let's do what we call you buy Uganda, you build Uganda, think for Uganda, develop Uganda, we shall go through this mess. Because whatever we have in Uganda is valuable in billions and billions of dollars outside our country. We have gold, we have oil, we have cocoa, we have coffee, we have many other food crops. We also have we have a lot. Tourism and what have you. Whatever we have here should be consumed in our local currency. It's high time we also follow what the BRICS are doing to run away from the one base economy, which is a dollar economy. All these are being caused by the dollar economy. Whatever you do, you must do it in dollars. Even the landlords in Uganda have started renting houses in dollars, which is a foreign currency. We must strengthen our currency to come back. And this is a task between the Bank of Uganda, the Ministry of Finance, and as well the entire government of Uganda.
Well, I had an engagement with one of the tax experts, and she said that actually that we being limited to obtain these loans kind of affects our tax base in some sort of a way. How do you examine that?
It's hard to examine because, one, we've not got a platform where the lenders can meet the borrowers, not at all. It's a meeting in a disguise, whereby when someone acquires a challenge of borrowing is when he looks for where to borrow. And by that time, you are in need. Whatever happens, you must do so to solve the simplest challenge, creating a biggest problem. That's why I'm drawing it back to the Ministry of Finance together with the Bank of Uganda to restructure the way how loans should go, how the economy should be restructured, and then we shall be well.
Okay, very interesting. Well, there has been something still that has been going on onto the social media talking about that despite these loans being put out there, not many Ugandans really benefited from them, because that is based on the livelihoods, looking at the income per capita and the price at which the Ugandans buy the different goods and services. So do you really think, doesn't that create a picture that Ugandans shouldn't worry that after all, even a big chunk of the funds that the World Bank has actually been providing have not been reaching the common person, so it might not change that much in terms of their livelihood?
Actually, I'm one of those that say it's high time, and I thank World Bank. I salute you so much. Thank you for carving out the loans to Uganda, because it has helped Ugandans. If at all it did, maybe at 1%. And if it was 1%, It was either 1960 when we were not there, 1985 when we were not there, 1989 when we were coming in. But now it has never worked. Actually, it has been a big share for the greedy horses that have been taking it up. It has not helped the citizens. It has not helped anywhere the citizens. If it is to build the schools, the parents can build themselves the schools down. We have the soil to make the bricks. We have the cement factories in Uganda. We have the iron sheets factories in Uganda. We can do everything here. So why do we borrow money from outside to construct roads when we can buy tractors and we have the engineers on the ground? So we can buy Uganda and build Uganda and do everything here. I feel then I don't know how we can call it, up to 10 years ahead of us, and then you see how Uganda shall develop and become like those Asian countries.
All right, Sylvia, thank you so much for that insight. Definitely, at this point in time, we shall be getting back to you shortly after this short commercial break as we dwell this discussion further, as he's been saying. Well, the biggest issue here is that can actually lenders survive without clients? You know, quite something very deep to really inspect into that. But definitely you get to realize that both we need each other in some sort of a way. And we need to also think of other alternative ways as a country, Uganda probably, of finding other sustainable lenders that are not going to go into the rights of the people, you know, because social cultures are part of the key factors that actually are very key when it comes to economic growth and development. And in the name of financial, financial security, we are not willing to risk that as a country, Uganda. Well, still on that notice, to remind you that the Markets of the Zabo platform on right now, and the star 292 hash is simply the USSD code that is available with options to be in position to buy bonds and securities for a fee of 15,000 Ugandan shillings. Now the markets open at exactly 8:15 and they'll be running all the way to 3:15. That is PM East African time, effective Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends, the public holidays when these markets cannot be accessed. But of course, despite that, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make money. And definitely your financial situation will improve. And also remember, on top of star 292 hash, you have to register with your national identification number for you to proceed efficiently. That's why Zabu says, my money, my future. And also East Africa tells you, you gotta do something new for yourself. And it's 2023. Now we'll take a quick short break and we shall be returning to wrap this up as we dwell into this discussion regarding matters of lenders and survivors. How best can they harmonize?
Smart 24, driving business.